For decades, the world has poured billions, some will actually say trillions, when you add up decades of foreign aid, loans and relief into Africa. Yet you will still be seeing headlines that says many disfigured situations that has been flogging the living hell out of Africa. Why does so much money not translate into lasting change? Well, the answer isn't as simple as you think, and that is why in this video, I will break it down into 5 clear factors. Let's begin right away. Foreign aid can save lives fast. That's its strength and its danger put together when governments, NGOs and citizens expect outside help as the only way out. The local systems don't get the pressure or incentive to fix themselves. Think of it like a patchwork bandage applied again and again. It covers the wound, but it doesn't teach the skin to heal. In many places, foreign aid became a predictable line in public budgets. Countries built programs around donor funding. Civil service jobs are highly dependent on external grants, and political leaders lean on foreign aid just to stay afloat. That alone created a cycle whereby government underinvest domestic revenue systems and private sectors, then call for more foreign aids when things break. Here is a quick and important context. Foreign aid to Africa is large, but not dominant in absolute terms. And in recent years, the high flow of foreign aid that we once knew has dropped like crazy. For example, Official Development Assistance (ODA) fell in 2024 after several years of growth, signaling donor retrenchment that exposes dependency when it matters most. Most international money goes where the headlines are: emergencies, short-term projects, or politically visible quick wins. That is vital when there is famine or epidemic. Fast foreign aid will save so many lives and also come to their rescue. But I have realized that that is not how you build long-term education systems, modern factories, or resilient health services. Reactive foreign aid is measured in inputs like clinics built and how many people were fed. But if you see the transformative development aspect, it is measured in outcomes that sticks, which are functioning tax systems, competitive industries, routine childhood vaccinations run by the government, and billions of stable jobs. Too much donor money pays salaries, run parallel services, or supports temporary fixes. When donors leave, that same services such countries were enjoying will just vanish instantly. We have seen a ripple effect because in recent years, donors are now cutting or reprioritizing funds, leaving gaps in humanitarian plans and national programs. In 2023 to 2024, I saw that major appeals were underfunded. Somehow, donors are beginning to change priorities and countries are seeing less and unsteady financing for what used to be a normal thing for them. For me, I see it as donors not having an eye-opener because these donors pour money but see little to no change. Donors nowadays don't just give money, they choose how it should be used. Those choices often reflect politics in donor capitals more than long-term needs in recipient countries. Here are some examples of misplaced priorities. Number 1. Funding tied to donor priorities like geopolitics, migration control, or short-term stability, rather than a properly designed structure that will bring about actual development. Number 2, I have been seeing more of foreign contractors instead of investing in local firms and civil servants. Number 3, they have prioritized high-profile infrastructure projects but leave maintenance bill to cash-strapped governments. Recent policy shifts shows donors are now tightening their wallets and redefining where money goes, sometimes towards geopolitical concerns or emergency responses, rather than steady investment even when it is not needed. This is exactly what countries need, like predictable and patient capital to reform tax systems, education education, and industrial policies. But when the donor agenda and the recipient's long-term plans misalign, foreign aid becomes a patch and not a platform. In this world we live in, there are actually two types of donors. The first ones are those that want to donate but need something in return. The second ones are those that want to freely give with their whole heart. The first donors actually are roaming everywhere in the world, especially in Africa. If we take a good look at Ukraine and the US, there is a behind-the-scenes partnership that we don't know about. Donald Trump won't just be helping them all the time without taking something in return. So that is how things run now. If the old model was we give, you spend, then the future needs to be we invest together. That shift alone already has three core parts. Number one, co-designed programs. Projects must be designed and led by local governments, communities, and businesses. Donors bring money and technical support. Local governments bring context, accountability, and follow-through. The school meals example is intrusive. Several African governments have expanded national school feeding programs, supporting small farmers, and are trying to keep money circulating inside their own economy. Number two, patient and blended finance. Think of a mix like concessional loans, risk sharing from donors, and commercial capital. This leverages much more private money for infrastructure, energy, and industry, and it makes projects commercially sustainable rather than grant dependent. Number three, performance incentive for states. Foreign aid should reward reforms that increase domestic revenue, transparency, and service delivery. This will flip the dynamic that countries will not be rewarded for dependency at all, but for building resilience. This partnership model treats African countries and businesses as partners and investors, not passive recipients, and it will start to shift expectations on both sides. The most durable way out of the crisis is not more handouts, it's the higher productivity, more factories, stronger agriculture, and a digital service sectors that employs millions. Foreign aid can capitalize on that, but if only it's treated like seed capital for investment, not recurring maintenance money. Let me give you key pieces of this paradigm. Number one, there should be elegant infrastructure like reliable power, ports, and roads so that private firms can scale properly. I have been seeing lenders who are offering bigger, cheaper finance for such infrastructure, though terms and governance matters. Number two, backing local businesses with risk capital and export support instead of funding only NGOs or consultants overseas. Number three, tax and custom reform to turn more of what citizens already pay into useful investment rather than losing it to inefficiency or corruption. Funny enough, donors and development banks are pivoting towards these investment-focused tools. The World Bank and African Development Bank have been increasing financing packages aimed at sustainable infrastructure and private sector development. These are the sort of investment that can change GDP, jobs, and fiscal space, provided they are not undermined by corruption, debt traps, or weak implementation. Let me try and share some practical steps on how to help such countries that rely heavily and bitterly on foreign aid. For the donors that still care with their whole hearts, they should move from short-term grants to blend and patient investment that aligns with the country's future plans. They should untie foreign aid from purely political goals and reduce conditionality that blocks local ownership. Then for the African government, they should prioritize tax reform and anti-corruption measures to mobilize domestic revenue. And they should also invest in simple, high-impact public goods like power, schooling, and roads, and buy locally where possible. For the private investors who are using foreign aid as a way to get back into their pocket, I call them I give you, you give me back people. They should blend finance and risk sharing to invest in scalable businesses across agriculture and manufacturing and digital services. Lastly, for the citizens and civil groups, they should all demand transparency, monitor public projects, and push for policy that turn foreign aids into local enterprise and jobs.